Frat Mouse. Teen Project friggin' dope. Frat Mouse friggin' yeah.
Welcome to the Dean Project Show. My name is Munchie, the straight edge Nutcracker. Hit that like as I introduce your high host, Dan Frampton.
Friggin' dope, Munchie.
Friggin' dope, Dan.
Alright, okay, Frat Mouse. Who the hell are Frat Mouse anyway? They're this like emo band from California that have nailed the authentic Midwest emo sound from the early 2000s that I grew up with. So the moment I heard them, I fell in love with these guys. But the first time that I heard about them was on January 10th of this year when Alpha Media put out this video called Great Songs You Might Not Know, okay? There it is right there. I'm not going to play much of it for you because I'm doing my own video, but if you want to check that out afterwards, I definitely recommend that you go do that because Alpha Media puts out sick content. But like, who are the dudes in Frat Mouse anyway, alright? Well, we got Truman Sinclair, who does most of the writing, singing, and guitar playing and that kind of thing. Then you got Griffin Memehan. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's a pretty sick name, so I'm going to be pronouncing that Memehan if that's okay. And he does most of the bass playing and the booking of the gigs and the the business end of it, I guess. The kind of shit that I suck at. And then we also got the Jay Dizzy, the Jay Dagenhurst or whatever, playing the drums and doing the good vibrations. And I guess that's his role in the Frat Mouse. And these guys are so dope. They are so sick. They have like that perfect level of snotty, bratty kind of vocals, but they don't really quite get to that like Taking Back Sunday level of irritating. So anyway, after I watched that video from Alpha Media, I walked down to the subway to pick up my girlfriend, and I listened to the record Rat Pack, and upon those opening moments, that vocal line, that guitar line, those gang vocals, I was like, I am so into this record. And sonically, it just sounded so DIY. All the ambience, all like the conversation happening in the background. I just loved every bit of it. It reminded me so much of my scene days, which I hate to say were like 16 years ago, but when I was like between the ages of 14 and like 20 odd some whatever, I was doing the same kind of thing. So like these sounds was just like bringing me back to a really specific time, really hitting me in the nostalgia feels. But then I'm like, holy shit, these kids are so young and they're doing what like I was so into way many years ago that it's not really that cool anymore. But I didn't like care about their social presence. I wasn't into any of that kind of like vanity bullshit. I just like loved these sounds. I loved these songs. Like, who the fuck is this band? They're so good. But I'm gonna hit you with just a few of those opening moments right now, if that's okay. It came from the song Grant Wasserstein, and it's just like the really specific mentions of like friends and room that make it sound like so emo, you know, those like really specific emo tropes. But then Truman just has a way of like tying in his like specific story to make it sound like a Frat Mouse song and not like just like a fucking rehash of all the fucking emo that I grew up with that ended up getting watered down to all fucking shit anyway. But yeah, here it is.
I don't smoke anymore. I don't have time to play guitar. I miss my friends. I miss my friends. Miss my room. I miss my room. Don't have time anymore.
Anyway, it builds up and goes from there. I'm not gonna play much more of it for you, but that's just the kind of the general vibe. And I was just like walking down to the subway and I was like, holy shit. And then after I got to the subway, because the record was only like 20 minutes long and that's how long it takes me to walk down to the subway, I got down to the subway, my girlfriend was there, I took out the headphones, and the first thing I said was, babe, I just found this emo band and I'm so fucking impressed. So that's who they are, but what makes them so friggin' good? What makes them make me dedicate an entire video to them, to an emo band? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Alright, okay, primarily it's the songwriting. The songwriting is pretty great, and it's kind of what makes Frat Mouse for me. Truman can really write a hook, people, okay? His shit is sticky. Truman has sticky shit, okay? You heard it here first. If you want to go see some sticky shit that gets stuck in your head for a long time, then you're going to want to go listen to Frat Mouse. All right, and here's an example of some of that sticky shit.
I don't wanna go home, 'cause driving scares me. I don't wanna go home, adventure scares me, adventure scares me.
And also,
I know you care so much about me. I know you'd be so lost without me. That's not what you tell your friends. That's not what you tell your friends.
catchy stuff, man. Oh my god, that shit gets stuck in my head, man. I go to bed with that shit in my head, and I wake up with that shit in my head, and then I'm like, I gotta keep listening to goddamn Frat Mouse. And you know, they did this video recently where they were kind of like doing like the behind the scenes and showing like how they write the song, and they did that for their newest single, Beep Boop. It was a very revealing look at how Truman puts together a song. And here it is here. Here comes Griffin, so that's Truman and Griffin, alright? They're putting together this song. You know, it's like a 10-minute long thing. Gives you a bit of an idea about the dynamic of the friends and how they write the song, and I think that's really sick. And I learned a lot about the band and a lot about their like process just like the other day, and I was like, man, these guys are so fucking dope. And the second reason why these guys are so fucking dope is that voice and the lyrics. Truman's got a way of putting like just the right inflection to get that right emo tone without it getting grating or irritating. Now there's other bands in this genre that I love, okay, like the Front Bottoms and Modern Baseball, and even those two bands, which are considered like heavy hitters in the genre. After a few songs, you know, sometimes you're just like, oh man, this is so whiny and irritating, fucking get over it. But when I'm listening to Frat Mouse, I don't get washed over with any of those feelings. All I get is feelings of like true relatability from someone that is like almost half my age, which is insane for me to think. He's also really good at finding ways to repeat lines and just changing them slightly to kind of recontextualize it to make it like such a not boring listening experience. Because a lot of the time when someone comes up with a hook or comes up with like a lyric, they just like drive that shit home to you. But if you just change it by a line or two, or a word or two, sorry, then it like changes it, not completely, but gives it like a whole new meaning and like rounds out the whole feeling that he's trying to get across. And for that, I'm just going to want to show you the song Jack's Scuba License once I find Spotify here again. All right, here it is. This is like an example of what I was just talking about.
And you know, I may look anxious, but I promise that I'm into it. And you know, that my legs are shaking, I promise that I'm into it. This cold sweat doesn't mean anything.
I love that line. This cold sweat doesn't mean anything. Man, that's so dope. And this shit is just so relatable to anyone at any generation of living through any time. This stuff can be considered timeless fucking music if just enough people could listen to it. Alright? And that, like, just listen to the beginning of Beep Boop and just you'll see if you can tell what I mean. Let me just quickly love all these songs while I'm here. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. But yeah, here we go. Beep Boop.
Yesterday I was wondering if you wanna come over and watch TV. Doesn't matter what's on as long as you're happy and sitting next to me. In a high, can be a little anxious, but I promise I'll figure it out. In a high, can be way too anxious, but less so if you're with me.
All right, you hear that? You gotta go listen to it because most of his songs, yeah, they do start with the guitar and the vocals, and he does do a lot of the same kinds of things. Like he does build and he does the like verse chorus kind of thing, but it doesn't get boring, man. It stays fresh. It stays exciting. It's all the things about like DIY kind of ethos that the Dean Project just like builds our whole like life around. So when I'm hearing this stuff coming from a generation behind a generation from me, I get very excited, okay? I'm like, the shit that I grew up on is not dead. The shit that I grew up on can still be relevant if enough fucking people can just fucking open their goddamn ears and listen to what's going on in front of them. It's a style of music that I grew up on. It's like the first time I heard Moneen in the early 2000s when my socks were blown off. They remind me of that scene. They remind me of my scene days back many moons ago. And I like the dynamic that Truman has with Griffin. Makes me think of all the times I had with Dino. He did all that marketing and promotion and networking and finding gigs and all the other stuff that wasn't writing music or drawing pictures. These are my final thoughts. My final thoughts. My final thoughts. So how can a band that's just happening right now resonate so hard with me 16 years after I got out of the scene? It blows my mind, but I see a future for this shit, yeah, this can survive. Yeah, it's like the friendship between Griffin and Truman that's like the glue for me in this project right now. I don't know, maybe that's what's like tying me so close to it. Maybe that's what's like reminding me so hard of what it was like to be writing and recording and to be touring and doing gigs with like your best friend. And maybe that's why I'm just like, oh dude, when I was your age I had that shit too and it's so fun. And maybe there's like a little ounce of old head jealousy mixed in there too, maybe a little bit of a bias, but I'm trying to come from like an honest place with it all, and I've just been bumping these records nonstop. I've just been loving them. Okay, well, thank you for watching that load of horseshit that I call content. If you enjoyed it, please scroll on down and spank a little like on it for me. If it's the first time that you've been here on the Dean Project YouTube channel, please subscribe, hit the bell notification, and come back for another video sometime. I put them out all the time, at least 2 a week, and when I'm on a roll, you might even see 5 a week, but that's not a consistent promise, okay? But you will get at least one Dean's List and then one other style video throughout the week. So subscribe, you're getting content over here, people. Dean Project friggin' dope. Dean Project, press a like. Dean Project, then subscribe. Patreon, yeah, yeah. Dean Project, press a like a Dean Project, then subscribe. Dean Project, friggin' dope. Patreon, yeah, friggin' dope.